So this is our first collaboration for Canine Fitness Month. This was a fantastic idea, and I don't know which one of us came up with it, but I'm super happy that one of us did. It's
So,
I think the beginning of like week two, right? And we've
yeah,
already
me too.
we've already had a lot of fun. So we want to talk about today some of the benefits of canine fitness and exercising our dogs and why that's important to both of us. Um, I have a senior dog that has been on a fitness plan for about 4 years. He had a major surgery within the last about 6 months ago. He had a tumor removed and he recovered very well from that surgery. Like he was on rest for probably about 3 or 4 months. And I really think him having that fitness program, that really strong high baseline,
For sure.
really helped him get back into just being a dog and being able to do scent work and use his nose
Right.
and compete. So the longevity aspect is really important. Was it 2 years? Is that what you said? That it adds on
Yeah,
to
it
your life
adds roughly
thereabout?
2 weeks.
Yeah. So you get 2 extra years with your dog
I
by
mean, who does not want extra time with their dog? I would
right.
do just about anything
Yeah.
if I could have more time with Layla.
Yeah. Yeah, same. And my senior dog is 12 right now, and he does not act like he's 12. He does not move like he's 12. And he's a Beagle Lab mix, right? So he's got the hip dysplasia and the arthritis and
All the things.
right? Yeah, all of the other stuff that goes with just like getting older. So yeah, the longevity aspect of it is that in and of itself to me is just worth it, spending an extra and really all it takes is 10 minutes a day, like 3 or 4 times a week to see that's it, right?
Yeah,
That's you like watching half of your TV show on the couch, just sit on the floor and do
yeah,
some stuff with your dog, Really it's not as difficult as I think everybody thinks
yeah.
that it is.
Like I would even go a step further and say it is quicker and easier to work out with your dog than for you to actually work out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm not doing it. Obviously, I mean, yeah, just look at
Like if
me.
I could do
I,
my whole workout in 10 minutes, absolutely.
yeah, right?
Exercise more. So
Right?
this is like a no-brainer for your dog, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, no, I am not a workout
I'm not either.
fit person at all. And I,
Either.
I really I really should be. It's kind of hypocritical for me to say that for myself and then, spend a bunch of time working with my dogs and not on myself. But it is what it is. Okay, so we have longevity. What else do we have?
Fun and enrichment for sure.
Hmm.
Like you don't have to worry about like yes, taking your dog on a walk, fantastic. Absolutely keep doing that. But doing exercises will also mentally tire them out, which means they will be tired for longer.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I have a 3-year-old cattle dog, so that's like the equivalent of a redneck Belgian Malinois. And 10, 15 minutes of doing, foot targeting and tuck sits and kickback stands and like plank exercises, she's fatigued. And she's not, I wouldn't say she's out of shape at all. Like she's lean and she's athletic and energetic and it wears her out. You know,
I
I
like to see it before, like, especially like if there's a storm coming and you know there's bad weather. I feel like it works really well for that too,
oh, that's a good
because
point.
they're so tired because they're just like, I just worked out my whole entire body.
Right.
I don't have the mental or physical energy to be stressed out.
Oh, that's a great idea. And I love
That
that.
that was my kind of like gateway into fitness
Okay.
because at first I thought it was all for sport dogs and I didn't have a sport dog. And I was like, well, my dog doesn't need that. So I take her for walks and I played fetch with her and I was like, that's fine. And then I actually had a friend of mine that I worked with. She recommended it to me for my dog's storm anxiety, and it helped.
That
And
makes
then I was like,
sense.
I'm sold,
I
sold.
love it. I love it. I never, and that never crossed my mind at all. Um, and you mentioned that sport dogs. So if you've got a dog that knows where their paws are at, and we do body awareness is a big component of what we do. Strength training is a big component of what we do. Endurance, cardio, balance. Sport dogs need all of that, right? If you look at an agility dog, you know, running through an obstacle course, all the running and jumps and like catching a frisbee or heeling for obedience and yeah, you're gonna have a really higher performing sport dog if you have a sport dog if they have a fitness program.
And if you're ultra competitive, because the ribbons and medals are for the humans, and
Right? Yeah.
doesn't like seeing that your dog is number one because I mean, everybody's dog is number one.
Right.
But sometimes, it's nice to see that in a ranking. And I
Right.
will say, with a like specifically for Fast Cat, I've seen my dog's times. She's gotten like shaved 2.5 seconds off. It would never happen if we were not doing fitness.
Right. And that's a big deal. And you can get points and titles a lot faster when your
Oh yeah.
dog is faster at that kind of stuff. Yeah, everybody has the best dog, like no matter what. But it's always
For
nice to
sure.
bring home that blue ribbon, you know, for that first
Yeah.
time.
And
Right.
if a fitness routine helps, why
Yeah.
not?
Right.
And
And
when you're thinking about like the sport dogs trialing and getting their cues faster and their times being faster,
right.
ultimately that will save you, the competitor, a little bit of money, which is also nice.
Yes. Yeah. And I think scent work is overlooked as far as the conditioning fitness aspect goes, right?
Absolutely.
So, when my scent work dog first got his program and we started showing again after COVID, his search times before COVID were like 30 to 40 seconds, right? Which, if you're only finding one or two hides, that's great. He's down to like 7 to 20 seconds that he can find a
Awesome.
hide, right? And as far as qualifying goes, that really doesn't matter. But when you get up to the upper higher levels, you have an unknown number of hides, or you have a lot of hides to find in a very short amount of time. How quickly your dog can navigate and clear that search area, that can be the difference between qualifying and not qualifying. So
Absolutely.
even with scent work, your scent work dog is also an athlete. And I think a lot of people don't really make that connection either because that's not a high impact sport.
Yeah, a lot of people I feel like count out some of the tricks and things like that, even though it still is your dog doing something, especially something that they're not necessarily bred to do.
Right.
So we're asking them to do all these things that is more for our enjoyment than anything else. They're not bred to weave through poles faster, but this is our way of helping cheat the code essentially
Yeah.
to help us more than them, but injury prevention as well with sport dogs and pet dogs.
Hmm.
A fitness plan is not going to 100% say your dog will never be injured because there's always that chance.
Right.
But if you told me 10 years ago, hey, if you do this plan, your dog has a reduced risk of having a knee injury, sign
Hmm.
me up.
Yeah.
Because my dog before she had passed, she had wound up tearing both of her knees and it was rough.
Yeah.
And that was before we knew anything about fitness
Hmm.
or any of that. And it was, had I known, it wouldn't have completely stopped it, but it would have helped and made recovery a little bit better too.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, and our dogs get a lot of the same benefits from an exercise program as what we do, right? So if you've got a dog that has no sense of self-preservation, like my cattle dog, and I'm running agility with her, right? So that's very high impact. And she's flown off of the A-frame before, which is dangerous.
For sure.
But she knows where her paws are. She has good muscle mass. She has nice, strong bones. She's flexible. So she's gonna know how to have more control over that a lot better. And hopefully, she's gonna know how to land a little more safely. I would hope. And even if she does get injured, a lot of the exercises that our rehab vet would give to us for recovery, she already knows probably 75% of them. And the 25% that she doesn't know is going to be real easy for her to learn those.
It makes it a lot less stressful as an owner doing all of those exercises with your, like when I worked in a clinic and I was sending owners home when we would give them their go home plan. It's like, oh, this is very easy, super simple. And then they would get overwhelmed. But if your dog knows these exercises, suddenly them being, because especially when you're recovering from surgery or an injury, you're hurting.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be doing anything that's
Right.
going
I
to
just
hurt.
I just want to
So
lay in my bed and have coffee all day. Right.
right. So if I at least know what is being asked of me, it's at least easier for
Hmm.
me to be able to be like, okay, I'll do it. If I don't know the exercise, then it's easier to get frustrated, and nobody wants to be frustrated with their dog.
Right. Especially if their dog is, recovering from a
Oh, for sure.
procedure. Yeah, and I think it's easier for the human to do the rehab stuff if they already have a fitness plan, because there's a good chance they already have the props or they already have like the improvised props,
Yeah.
like, the broomsticks and the baskets for cavaletti, or they're already using like a pillow or a couch cushion for their inflatable stuff. They already have a little bit of a routine going before the procedure, the surgery for their dog. And they already know like their reward placement, and they already kind of have an idea about how their dog should move through those
Right.
exercises. They have that pre-baseline thing that you wouldn't have if you weren't doing any sort of exercises with your dog
Right.
beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that I feel is probably the most overlooked part is fitness. Hopefully today we can change that for some people.
Right?
Hopefully this is our little soapbox, and hopefully you will find your way and join us on here.
Right? For sure.
Let's see. What else is there?
Do you have any experience with any rescue dogs or any of your clients that have rescue dogs for fitness? Or like even like purebred dogs that are like naturally timid. Have you seen any improvement in their confidence level
Absolutely.
with that? Okay.
Honestly, it's probably one of the things that I first recommend to somebody if they have a shy dog. I'm like, what do you do with them? And they'll say, oh, I walk them, I do this, I do this. Cool, let's do some fitness.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, as they're tackling these challenges, they're like, my dog is doing all these things like in the real world environment that I never thought they would do or ever have the confidence for. I'm like, see,
Yeah.
it's fitness. Like,
Right?
and a lot of times it looks really intimidating, needing all of these, all this equipment and everything has to be like at a correct, proper placement. And we're looking for very specific things and it can get pretty overwhelming and frustrating. But watching, especially if you have a shy dog, watching their confidence grow, worth it every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and that's so rewarding. So rewarding. And then I feel like that also kind of gets rid of, or at least decreases the intensity of some of the other unwanted behaviors that they do at home, because they are less fearful. They are less skittish. And
And
that,
a lot of times when we have dogs that aren't super comfortable and they're displaying all of those unwanted behaviors, it not only is helping with the confidence, but again, that mental just tiring them out
Mhm.
where they don't have any thought in their head outside of, I need a nap. And
Right.
that really helps most of those behaviors, not only just confidence wise, but just all all over.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of like 80% of unwanted behaviors are caused by pain. Um, my second rescue dog that I have right now, Echo, she was surrendered to the Humane Society because she was attacking the other dogs in the home. She had a broken canine tooth, like to the root. Like that dog needed a root canal, right? She was hurting. Like I'm
I'm
mean when I have a
Yeah,
toothache.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I would be fighting people too if I could. I'd be like,
right?
Nope, nope,
Yeah, yeah. And I
it's a
think,
dog."
right. Yeah, and once you start working out with your dog, you can kind of see what that normal baseline is. So once you know what's normal for your dog, you also in turn know what's not normal for your dog. You're more inclined to see when they are hurting, so you know when you should go see your vet.
And that's huge
Yes.
because if we think about pain and how dogs show pain, it's very different from a human, and
Hmm.
their tolerance levels are different as well, but they can't tell us.
Right.
They can show us as much as they can, whether we're understanding it or not is
Yeah.
different. But when we look at something like I just lost my thought.
You were talking about dogs showing pain and how dogs show pain.
Yeah, so when we pick up something that seems really slight and we're noticing something, being able to catch that much earlier means that A, they're going to be in pain less time, but also
Right.
that means the whole situation of you being miserable, your dog being miserable is going to take a lot less time too, which
Mhm.
is so important because I mean, I have huskies. When they are not happy, nobody on the block is happy.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
hear that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to do everything in my power. So
Mhm.
being able to pick those things up, and I wouldn't have been able to without fitness
Right.
because I would have looked at my dog and been like, oh, maybe you just stepped on a rock. Whereas now I'm able to be like, I don't think so. And
Yeah,
really kind of look at it a bit more of like, this doesn't look like he stepped on something or something of that nature.
right. Yeah, and I'm really big on posture when I train my exercises or when I train people to do their exercises with their dog. I'm really big about and Nike. When we let her play with her herding ball, there was a few days that she would not do a square sit for me. So we went to our rehab vet, and she had very mild swelling on that knee. Well, she wasn't flexing it because
Right.
it hurt,
Sure.
That's why
Yeah.
she wasn't that's why she wasn't giving me the proper form. So they suspect, based off of her x-rays and the clinical signs, that she had a real mild CCL tear, like very slight, very mild swelling. Like even the radiologists and the rehab vet were even kind of going back and forth on it. That's how not severe this was. So she doesn't get her hurting ball anymore because she has no sense of self-preservation, as I mentioned
I've got
before,
a dog like
right?
that.
So she has all of these really tight turns at speed, which is one of the things that causes that type of injury. But yeah, that we took her off of her exercises for a little bit. We gave her some anti-inflammatories. We took away her hurting ball, and now she's fine. So, me being able to see those signs of a potential real early injury saved me like thousands of dollars for a TPLO procedure, as
And
well
that's
as
not
the
even including,
recovery, right? Yeah, I
yeah,
don't,
like the surgery alone is thousands,
yeah,
and the rehab alone is very expensive as well.
right.
So, I mean, I look at it this way. I am at my heart a very cheap person. If I can find another use for something, if I can do something that will kind of decrease the baseline
Hmm.
for like unexpected costs, I'm doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If, right, yeah, if I'm paying a fitness trainer like 150 to $200 for a program for an analysis versus thousands of dollars to a surgeon and a rehab vet, I'm gonna go with the
100%.
fitness trainer.
And like you said, because you had a fitness plan, that actually really helped with the surgery part, which arguably is the worst part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And keeping a cattle dog on any type of crate rest, even for a
And
short period of time, is not fun.
it's horrible, for like everybody in the house. It's not just the dog. It's horrible
For
for
sure, yeah.
you know.
Everybody.
Right? Yes. Okay, so We have, I think, about 4 minutes left. We covered longevity, confidence, performance, injury prevention, and injury recovery if there is an injury. Any closing thoughts? Anything else?
Fitness is fun.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't seem like it in the beginning, when you get the foundation exercises and you see other people doing these fancy exercises with all these fancy pieces of equipment and you're not quite there yet, it's easy to get discouraged and want to give up. Don't.
Right, because those fancy exercises are just combinations of the foundation stuff. That's it. That's it.
No.
That's all they are, right? So all of those fancy exercises is usually most of them are stillness plus foot targeting plus some sort of a stretch, right? You're just combining
Right.
three or four things, right? But you've got to have that foundation, which is where you are. I mean, we all start at novice, right? So those people, no matter if you're doing canine fitness or some sort of dog sport, I just started agility, right? And I can't. I'm struggling, and my cattle dog tells me when I'm struggling. But like those people that are competing on TV that you see running with your dogs, they all started where I'm at right now, right? So we all start at novice.
And it's like, I mean, one of the most well-known people in the dog world, like Susan Garrett, she started right at the beginning with everybody else.
Right,
And that's something that really is, for me, especially motivating because
hmm,
I feel like when I'm back at the beginning, like even when I get a new dog and I start back at the beginning, I'm like, oh, here I
right,
am again, can't move on. Like I want to do the fun stuff, but it's
yeah,
really when you sit and really work with the foundations, you learn how fun it is. And it's honestly more fun than using fancy equipment and doing crazy tricks and
right.
exercises.
Yeah, and I really think the foundations are more fun than some of the fancy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's,
So don't give up on you. Don't give up on your dog unless they're injured and your vet tells you to. Then,
right.
take a break, right? But
Of
like
course.
get back into it.
And if you do something with your dog will thank you. Your
Yes.
dog just wants to spend time with you. They don't care
Right.
what you're doing. They just want to have fun with you.
Uh,
And if they're doing something new and you're taking time to do something that they've never done before, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, what is this? This
What
is
is
so
this?
fun. You're doing this with me?" And how cool is that to be able to be with your dog while they're just having a blast and you're learning something new?
Right.
Like that's so cool that we get to experience that over
Yeah.
and over.
Yeah, and we're learning something new with our dog, right? Whether that's fitness or some new exercise or a new sport or, just whatever. Just,
Even just how to be gentle with yourself and how to give yourself grace.
yeah, yeah, that's a big, and I think we're really bad about that, especially as sport dog handlers.
You
Right?
to get kind of caught up in the competitiveness and the fun higher stakes type
Right.
stuff, like your regionals, your nationals, things like that. But it's your dog doesn't care if you walk out with a ribbon, so
Right. Yeah.
go
Yeah.
have fun.
Your dog cares that they got to run around and have fun with you.
And that's really all that's important.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that is about our time. I got my pop-up alert on the screen with my countdown. Okay. So, I think that's pretty much all that we have. This
Yeah,
was a pretty productive half hour, in my
I agree with
opinion.
that.
It really was. Yep. So I'll have this up as like a permanent recording um,
Okay.
on my website, and I'll get it sent out to the rest of the world.
Sounds good.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Aspen, for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, I hope we can do this again next year
Yes.
for like more
Just
collaboration.
get bigger and bigger every year. And then
Right?
eventually people are going to be like, oh, you're the crazy fitness people. Yep, that's
Yes, 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 we are. I will happily accept that label anytime.
right. Like, I'm okay with that.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I am gonna go run some agility games with my psycho cattle dog.
Thank you
So
for
I
having me.
will, yeah, yeah. All right. So we will see you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.